No doubt, no doubt. All right, again, boot them up, boot up the Shut Up Radio, Mississippi, Louisiana, coming live to you, all the radio listeners. What we'll do is get into the news portion of this. We have online right now, live to you, Captain, mighty man, Captain Kahan. He will be speaking for the next hour to bring you international as well as local news and backing it up with some scriptures as well. So we want to, again, thank Captain Katazal Pariam of the I.S.U.P.K, mighty man. And we want to thank
the water for having me.
Fantastic. And we want to thank Pastor Willie Jackson for taking the time as well for that biblical dialogue. All right, well, Captain Kahan, welcome to the show. Again, boot up and shut 'em up radio live internationally by way of Church of Reality channel. And big ups to Prayers for allowing that platform. You can get straight into that news and do what you do out of one. Let's hear some of that news, and we'll bring in the callers for the last portion of this. For the phone lines are ringing and been lit up all night. So go ahead.
Hey, shalom, brother. Shalom, Yahweh, Shema, Shabakathum to the brothers. Shalom, Yahweh, Shema, Alathum, Bashim, Yahweh, Shah to the sisters. All right, I want to make sure my reader is on.
Come on.
Okay, all right. So we're going to go into some news stories that's going on, that's been happening lately. And we're going to touch on these news stories based on the scriptures and what we should be doing in these times. For those that just tuning in, the Bible is a living word. It's not just a book of history, but it's a book of past, present, and future. So the things that's going on right now in America and all over the world, the Bible speaks to that, and the Bible gives us instructions on what we should do in these times. So we're gonna start out with the first story. Trooper, you got the first story?
Come on.
Okay, so he's gonna read the story, and then we're gonna break down some points, some pivotal points in this story, and we're gonna bring out some scriptures to back it up. All right, go ahead and read, brother.
The title of the article: Cops, teacher in custody after barricading self in classroom with gun, firing shots.
Okay, so I don't know if y'all been really paying attention to the news. I'm sure most people have been in the loop about the school shootings that's been going on all over America, especially the one that happened in, I think it was Sanford, Florida, where 17 children were murdered. Okay, all right. So this incident here has to do with a teacher that had a gun, right? And Donald Trump is pushing at this point in time with the NRA to arm teachers. Okay? So let's go ahead and read, brother.
A teacher is in custody after police say he barricaded himself inside a classroom at a high school in northwest Georgia Wednesday and fired a shot. Situation at Dalton High School in Dalton began around 11:30 a.m. with a social studies teacher identified by police as Jesse Randall Davidson, 53, blocked students
right.
from entering.
And I just want to make sure, I want to make sure the audience know this is a white man that we're talking about that this incident happened. All right, go ahead.
Jesse Randall Davidson, age 53, blocked students from entering his class, school principal Steve Bartu told reporters.
Go ahead.
That's the end of it, Cap.
Okay. Someone get me Joe. Go ahead.
Bartu said he and an assistant principal helped get the students into another classroom before Bartu tried to make contact with Davidson by knocking on the door.
Uh-huh.
He said Davidson slammed the door and yelled for him to go away while making nonsensical noises. Bartu said he called the school resource officer who was at a middle school campus and explained that Davidson wasn't allowing students into his classroom and wasn't making any sense. He asked the school resource officer to return to campus. Bartu said he tried to unlock the door, and Davidson then again slammed it, saying, "Don't come in here. I have a gun." Bartu said he immediately ordered the school to go into threat lockdown, and shortly after that, he said he heard a gunshot. Dalton police quickly responded, and the school resource officer was able to persuade Davidson to leave the room peacefully. Davidson Assistant Chief Cliff Casey said, he said the shot that Davidson fired went out a window, calling it a very egregious act. No one was struck by gunfire, and no other shots were fired during the incident. One student apparently sustained an ankle injury while running inside the school during the evacuation. Bartu said Davidson had been employed by the school since 2004 and described him as a good teacher. He said there was no indication he was troubled or unfit for the position. It's certainly shocking to me that one of the staff members pulled out a gun in a classroom and fired it, Bartu said. Davidson is also the play-by-play voice of the Dalton football team. Police tell CBS News Davidson had a snub-nosed .38 revolver handgun. Davidson has been charged with aggravated assault, carrying a weapon to school, terroristic threats, reckless conduct, possession of gun during a crime, and disrupting public schools. Responding to a reporter's question, Kaysen said that a judge may request a mental health evaluation for Davidson, but authorities didn't have any indication of what might have caused the incident.
Okay. Is the story concluded? Okay. Now, so we want to bring out in the Israelite School of UPK, we teach separation, and I want to go into a couple things tonight about this story, which shows you that what Commander General Yohanna says, what he has been teaching this school, and what the men above him have taught him since 1969 is correct and right. This is why we should have never integrated into these schools. Now, let's just put ourselves in this picture. What if you would have locked the door with the students in the class? You understand? You would have had another mass slaughter. One thing that the black Christian leadership and these civil rights and these politicians don't say during this last Black History Month and every Black History Month, they never bring out when Martin Luther King said, when he told Harry Belafonte before he died, that he felt he integrated his people into a burning house. Our children are in more jeopardy now in these schools than ever. And we're starting to see now that integration was a failed social experiment. You understand? If we would have stayed integrated, we wouldn't have to worry about our schools being shot up. You understand? Mass shootings. We have problems with our youth right now, and a lot of these problems that we have with our youth came from integration because we integrated fully in this society. We had problems before integration, but those problems we were able to deal with. You understand? Now we have to deal with our problems and another nation's problems. We have to deal with our kids not doing drugs, and we have to give the white school shooter love or the teacher. You understand? And what Esau, the so-called white man, and his government is getting ready to do now, they're going, forget a school-to-prison pipeline. You're going the school is about to be a prison or a graveyard. You understand? That's what's getting ready to happen. And you got these white teachers that's coming from these lily white suburbs going into these inner cities, these urban cities where our kids are, you understand? And they're coming in there, they're afraid. They don't know how to communicate with the kids. They don't understand our culture. They don't understand. They may listen to our music, but they don't understand how to connect and react to our kids. And then our kids are, they're lively. Some of them are aggressive. You understand? And what happens when a black child hits the desk and the teacher just turns around and shoots the child? What happens then? And remember, they're going to say she was trained. They're going to say she was licensed to carry. They're going to say she was trained by the NRA SHIELD program or the school council. You understand? They're going to justify it. They're going to say they say he wore his pants sagging. He was on detention 5 times in a year. You understand? They're going to use this, and they're going to say it's working, while our kids are going to die. You understand? This is the problem with the problem. We don't have a gun problem in America. We don't have a mental health problem in America. We have a white people problem in America. You understand? Because they never, every time, and just look at history. Every time they passed a solution or a law to deal with violence, it always affected us. To deal with drugs or anything that they feel like they had to clean up society, it always affected us more. It hurt us more. You understand? Give me Job chapter 18, verse 11. And then I need someone to hold me Ezekiel chapter 35, verse 1.
This is the book of Job.
Chapter. Go ahead, I'm sorry.
All right, go ahead. The book of Job. This is chapter 18, verse 11. The book of Job, chapter 18, verse 11. Terrors shall make him afraid on every side, and shall drive him, and shall drive him to his feet.
The Bible says terror is going to make this man. These people is going to make them afraid on every side, including his school system. The Lord is. You ever hear the white man say, or white people say, we got a war on terrorism? Who you think is causing the terror? Who you think is orchestrating the terror? God is doing these things. Terror is just not orchestrated, just not coming from the Arabs. It's coming from his own people. That was a domestic terrorism act that happened in Sanford. You understand? But they don't call it that. White people have a template for anything, any mass crime in America. If it was a Mexican that did that crime, they would have said it's an immigration problem. If it was an Arab that did that crime, they would have said we have a terrorism problem. If it was a black man that did that crime, they would have said he was a thug. He was a menace to society. But when a white person does the crime, we got a gun. The problem is AR-15. The problem is his mental health. The problem is the movies. The problem is the music. It's everything but him. You understand? And it's time for black people to start waking up and seeing that. The Bible says the blind is going to lead the blind. And Commander GEN.YAHANNA has given us sight through these scriptures by following Christ and teaching us the right way to go. You understand? Read on.
Verse 12. His strength shall be hunger bitten, and destruction shall be ready at his side.
You see that? His strength going to be hunger bitten, meaning he's going to become weak. Yeah, that's what's happening to America right now. They don't know where the next terrorism attack is coming from. There's so many different ways they're waging war. You got cyber war. You got chemical warfare. You got conventional war. You got all these different types of warfares you have. You have an information war. You understand? When he war with his own government, with the FBI and the intelligence community. You understand? You have so many different ways. You got domestic terrorism. You got international terrorism. You got all these different things that he's dealing with, and we want to trust in this government. The Bible says destruction going to be ready at his side. And you know what? You know we standing? Guess what black people are standing in America right now? Right by his side. You understand? Right by his side. So we're in danger. It's time that we separate. We take our spirit away from him. You understand? If the NAACP or the ACLU or any of these black organizations have any type of foresight, in order to be a leader, you have to have foresight, like Commanding General Yohanna. To have some type of foresight. If they had any type of foresight, they would be screaming to high heaven on Capitol Hill right now. They would be threatening the United States Department of Education by saying we would be separating right now. If you pushing to arm these teachers, we're walking out of these schools. They should be doing that. They should be saying we're gonna pull our kids out of these schools. It should be a national outcry. But you know why they're not doing that? I'll tell you why. Because when the next child is shot in a school, it's going to be lawsuits. And you know where those you know where those lawsuits are going to come from? They're going to be coming from these different organizations. And they're going to have lawyers. They're going to go Al-Sharpton, and they're going to go down there with lawyers. And they're going to get money off of it. You understand? Mm-hmm. They use race as a tool to empower themselves. You understand? That's what is going on. That's what's getting ready to happen. And they know it. They sitting back and haven't said nothing about it. Read on.
Verse 13. It shall devour the strength of his skin.
It shall what?
Devour the strength of his skin.
This is how you know the Bible is from the Lord. It's a spiritual and holy and righteous book. The Bible says, what is a man's strength? Think about this. Let's examine this for a minute. Now, when we say the so-called white man, right, we're talking about what? What are we talking about? We're talking about him as a person, but what gives him the advantage in the earth? What identifies him? His skin. You understand? His strength, his skin has strength in the earth. They call it, some people would call it white privilege. You understand? But the strength of his skin is gonna be hunger bitten. You understand? His strength is gonna be hunger bitten, and his skin now is gonna identify him as the real criminal. You understand? He's gonna go from that person you thought that had good credit to this guy's a serial killer. And the more these school shootings start to happen, black people are gonna start rethinking integration. Watch what I tell you. The more these things start to happen, and the more the prophets of the I.S.U.P.K are on the street, black is going to change black people's train of thought on what integration is. But you know what? Because you're going to start thinking about survival. You understand? You're not trying to integrate when you're trying to survive. You're trying to make sure your life is not taken. And that's what time we in. You understand? The time of integration is over with. You understand? Someone give me that scripture in Ecclesiastes where it says a time to embrace and a time to refrain from embracing. While he's getting that, let's read on in Job.
Kahan. This is the book of Job, chapter 18, verse 12, and it reads, verse 13. It shall devour the strength of his skin, even the firstborn of death shall devour his strength.
You see that? The firstborn of death, like it happened in Egypt. That death angel killed the firstborn during the time when what we call is the Passover. And speaking of Passover, we're having the Passover in March 30th in Yonkers, New York. You can go to our website and check that out. You know what I'm saying? It's required by every black, Hispanic, and Native American Indian, those of Israelite descent, to be at the Passover. Commander GEN.YAHANNA is hosting that Passover on March the 30th, of this month in New York. Go to our website to check it out, ISUPK.com. Okay? Back to the scripture. The firstborn of death is going to devour him. That death angel is coming for this man. You understand? Because of the crimes he's committed. Not because of the color of his skin, but because of the crimes he committed. The color of his skin is one of the markers that identifies him as the murderer. You understand? The strength of his skin is going to be devoured. You understand that white privilege is going to be white guilt. So-called white guilt. You understand? Any more?
That's it.
Read, you got that scripture in Ecclesiastes, refrain from embracing, a time to embrace and a time to refrain from embracing. If you get a chance, let me know if you get a chance on that.
I have it out of one.
Okay, go ahead and read it, please.
Okay, this is Ecclesiastes chapter 3, verse 5. A time to cast away stones and a time to gather stones, a time to embrace and a time to refrain from embracing.
You see that? This is what Christian pastors and these politicians don't understand. They don't understand the times. It's not a time always to love everything, enjoying everything. The Bible also says it's a time to hate. And it's a time to refrain from embracing. We should refrain from embracing now because it's that time. You understand? There's a time, if you still go up further, the Bible says there's a time for every season under the sun, every season under the heaven. You understand? It's not winter all year. It's not warm all year. It's a time. But now we're in that time, black people, Hispanic and Native American Indian people. And these are the signs of the time that we're reading about. Any more on that? Is that it?
That's it.
Take me to Ezekiel 35:1, please.
Ezekiel chapter 35, verse 1. This is the book of Ezekiel, chapter 35, verse 1. And it reads, Moreover, the word of the Lord came unto me, saying, verse 2, Son of man, set thy face against Mount Seir, and prophesy against it.
Mount Seir represents white people, their government, Esau. You understand? Set your face. The Lord told a prophet to speak against a nation. You understand? And its government. Speak against it. The prophets of old did not preach everybody coming together. They spoke against nations and kingdoms. Read on.
Verse 3, and say unto it, Thus saith the Lord God, Behold, O Mount Seir, I am against thee, and I will stretch out mine hand against thee, and I will make thee most desolate.
The Lord is going to make these people desolate. Read on.
Verse 4, I will lay thy cities waste, and thou shalt be desolate, and thou shalt know that I am the Lord.
Read on.
Verse 5, because thou hast had a perpetual hatred, and hast shed the blood of the children of Israel by the force of the sword, in the time of their calamity, in the time that their iniquity had an end.
You see that? The time that our iniquity is at an end. And he still is killing us with the sword. He still has to make us the America's criminal. You understand? And his laws that he put in place are to regulate and oppress our people. You understand? Okay. How much time do we have? How much time do I have, Officer Amon-Yala? How much time do I have left on it?
9:15, so another 30 minutes out of one.
Okay, let's skip down for time. Okay, let's go to brother. Let's go to Trooper. Let's go to the next story, please. Story 2. Okay, let me know when you get it. And while he's getting that, someone hold Ephesians 6:12 for me, please.
Got it.
The article reads, Worshippers clutching AR-15 rifles hold commitment ceremony.
Okay, so this church, there was a church that had a church service with AR-15s in the church. Okay, just so America, I want to make sure America is listening. They had a church service. This is after the school shooting with the AR-15. They had a church service with the AR-15 in the church. Everyone had AR-15s. Read, brother.
In Newfoundland, Pennsylvania, crown-wearing worshipers clutching AR-15 rifles drank holy wine and exchanged or renewed wedding vows in a commitment ceremony at a Pennsylvania church on Wednesday, prompting a nearby school to cancel classes. With state police and a smattering of protesters standing watch outside the church, brides clad in white and grooms in dark suits brought dozens of unloaded AR-15s into World Peace and Unification Sanctuary.
World Peace. Hold on. Let me just say one thing. They call the church World Peace. Yes, it's like the Jim Jones situation. You understand? Now, if somebody would walk in there, and I guarantee you, everybody didn't have an AR-15 that wasn't unloaded. You understand? Read on.
Into World Peace and Unification Sanctuary for a religious event that doubled as an advertisement for the Second Amendment. The church, which has a worldwide following, believes the AR-15 symbolizes the rod of iron in the book of Revelation and encourages...
And that's totally incorrect. You understand? That's totally incorrect. To say the AR-15 is the rod of iron, Christ doesn't need an AR-15. You understand? That our king doesn't need an AR-15 when he comes back. They just show you the white man. He used... And let me tell you something. We have to, in America, black Christians, we have to, these Christians out here, these so-called Negro Christians and these Hispanic and Native American Indian Christians, we need to, listen, we have to have a serious conversation. You have to have a serious conversation and your members. You understand? Because this is what we got to understand. We have to address of why white Christianity and black Christianity are taught two different things. We have to deal with it. You understand? White Christians learn something totally different than black Christians. Why is that? If we have the same religion and same God, I'll tell you why. Because their religion is a snare unto us. You understand? Their religion has nothing to do with forgiveness. You understand? If a black church would have brought AR-15s in there, can you imagine what would happen? They'll be calling them the new Black Panther Party. They'll be saying they're terrorists. But this is what's going on in these white churches. This is what's going on all over America. You understand? The Bible said this man would live by the sword. Think he don't want to get rid of his guns. And let me tell you like this. He doesn't need an AR-15 to do terrorism. They can make a bomb. They building bombs from Amazon. Amazon is shipping them the bomb material every week. They building bombs from offline. They don't need these things. They bomb churches in the 60s and all that stuff. So they don't need no AR-15. You understand? To do terrorism. Read on.
And encourage couples to bring the weapons. And AR-15 was used in the Florida high school massacre on February 14th. The Reverend Sean Moon, who leads the church, prayed for a kingdom of peace police and a peace militia where the citizens, through the right given to them by Almighty God to keep their arms, will be able to protect one another and protect human flourishing. Moon is the son of the late Reverend Sun Moon, a self-proclaimed Messiah who founded the Unification Church, which critics regard as a cult.
You see that? It is a cult. It is a cult. You understand? The I.S.U.P.K, that's one thing people don't understand. Like you never hear other Christians call other Christian churches a cult, but you will call I.S.U.P.K a cult. You understand? We're not doing nothing like that. We out here teaching the word of God. You understand? Waking our people up. They don't understand the difference between a cult and culture. You understand? That is a cult. And trust me, in about you give it a year, somebody in there gonna get shot. I can guarantee you be reading about them like you reading about Jim Jones. Read on.
Some worshipers wore crowns made of bullets. Tim Elder, Unification Sanctuary's director of world missions, said the ceremony was meant to be a blessing of couples, not inanimate objects, calling the AR-15 a religious accoutrement. But Wednesday's event, coming on the heels of the high school massacre in Parkland, Florida, which killed 17, rubbed emotions raw. It's scaring people in the community, one protester told a church member. Are you aware of that? The ceremony prompted the Wallapopack area school district to move students at an elementary school down the street to other campuses. Lisa DeSing protested outside the church with a sign that called the group an armed religious cult. She said she owns a gun, but I don't need a freaking assault weapon to defend myself. Only thing they're good for is killing, period. That's all that weapon is good for, mass killing. And you want to bless it? Shame on you. But Shramon, who attended the ceremony with her husband and came with that AR-15.
Let me get Ephesians 6 and 12. Let me get Ephesians 6 and 12 on this story. You understand? The Bible said this man was going to be blessed with the sword. That's what he blessed. That's what he lived by. And he's going to die by the sword. He's going to die by, like, the Bible says, woe to a city that's built on blood. You understand? That's the only way these people got America. That's the only way they spread democracy. That's the only way their financial world policy is intact, because of the sword. You understand? Why do you think North Korea is in a rush to get nuclear missiles? Because they know how to speak the white man's language. Other nations know that. They say, look, in order for these people to even respect our humanity, we have to get some nuclear weapons. Because everyone knows people are starting to wake up and see these things. Look at Ephesians 6 and 12.
Ephesians, the New Testament. Ephesians chapter 6, verse 12. And it reads, for we wrestle not against flesh and blood, but against principalities, against powers, against the rulers of the darkness of this world, against spiritual wickedness.
You see that? Against spiritual wickedness. You understand? That's what we fight against. See, we are spiritual people. You black and Hispanic and Native American Indian, your salvation is not going to come through an AR-15 or any other man-made weapon. Your salvation is a spiritual thing that we're dealing with. You understand? Our problems, you can't solve a spiritual problem with a carnal solution. Mm-hmm. You can't do that. You understand? God, that's why the scripture is saying this. We don't wrestle against flesh and blood. These people, they're carnal. They're children of the flesh, like it says in Genesis. They're children of the flesh. They're not children of the spirit. So they handle everything. Their issue is to handle a gun with a gun. You understand? That's their issue. We're supposed to be teaching and waking our people up. You understand? Our King is going to deliver us. And there's flaws, and it shows you, what does this show you about the American Constitution and Declaration of Independence and all that garbage? There's flaws in it. There's flaws in that. The only flaw, there's no flaws in God's laws, none whatsoever. There's flaws in the white man's Constitution and his laws. Why? Because he have to keep making amendments. There's flaws in it. And we trusting in that? We trusting in destruction. Any more on that, brother?
That was it.
Take me to Deuteronomy 4. I'm sorry.
I was just saying it says against spiritual wickedness in high places. That's all.
Exactly. That's what we're fighting against. The way to fight against him is turning to our God and keeping our laws, statutes, and commandments. That's how you fight. That's how you resist evil. You understand? Let's go to Deuteronomy 4, chapter 4, verse 5.
Deuteronomy chapter 4, verse 5. Deuteronomy chapter 4, verse 5. And it reads, Behold, I have taught you statutes and judgments, even as the Lord my God commanded me, that ye should do so in the land whither ye go to possess it.
Mm-hmm.
Verse 6, Keep therefore and do them, for this is your wisdom and your understanding in the sight of the nations, which shall hear all.
This is our wisdom and understanding in the sight of the nations. These nations don't have no understanding. And because we follow them, they look at us like we don't have no understanding. And they make themselves in high regard. But if we was to turn back to our God, our laws, statutes, and commandments, we would be looked at as high. They would say these people are wise. They got some understanding. You understand? They know how to live. They know how to have a community. They know how to go to school. They know what bathroom to use. Read on.
For this is your understanding in the sight of the nations, which shall hear all these statutes and say, Surely this great nation is a wise and understanding people.
And notice this. It said nation, singular. It didn't say nations. You understand? We're a nation, separate from every other nation. And everyone else knows it. But us. Everyone else knows that. Read on.
Verse 7. For what nation is there so great, who hath God so nigh unto them, as the Lord our God is in all these, is in all things that we call upon him for. Verse 8. And what nation is there so great, that hath statutes and judgments so righteous as in all this law, which I set before you this day?
You see that? The Lord set the law before us this day, man. We should take heed to it. Because guess what? America's laws, let me tell you, it's death. It's not saving its kids in school. They said America right now under Donald Trump is in a constitutional crisis. You know what that means? They can't agree on the Constitution. Right. You know what happened the last time that happened? A civil war. Don't believe me? Look at history. The last time that happened, when they had a constitutional crisis, when a major constitutional crisis, it was with slavery. And they went to war. I.S.U.P.K is blowing the trumpet to wake our people up. Let's go to the next story, brother. What we on? Take me to story. Let's go to story 4, brother.
Come on.
What time I'm looking at? I'm with y'all. We got. I got 15 minutes.
Now it depends on how you want to do this, Captain Kahan. We have callers who are waiting patiently. You could take a couple of calls if you want to, and then go right back into it.
Okay, yeah, let's get some of the callers in. Let's see if some callers have a point of view, whether they disagree or agree with the stories that we just read, and while we're waiting on the callers to come in, we'll just go to story 4. I mean, you can open the lines now. They're ready now. We can take some questions now if you want.
Con out of one con. Okay. Okay, Perez, you can bring him on the line. Okay, caller 205 area code. Caller 205. State your name and city.
This is Sylvia Smoot from Gulfport, Mississippi.
Yes. You have a question or a comment?
Just a comment.
All right, go ahead.
Just like a comment is like I'm just shocked at what's going on with schools. Our kids can't even go to school. You feel me? to learn without the high risk of dying and people shooting up the school. That's it. Like, I'm just at awe in that situation.
Right. I understand. Okay. Is that
Well,
your comment?
if I could,
Go ahead.
If I could answer, sister, I understand you in awe. But the good thing is that you have a chance to wake up and really see what's going on with our people, and that's good. You understand? Like, there's nothing wrong. That's part of being awake. Do you know the reason why there's so much? Like, the white people are saying there's a lot of unrest in America. There's a lot of unrest. You know why there's unrest? Because it's a spiritual awakening happening. It's happening with our people, and the better we are knowing what time it is and what we should be doing in this time, under the guidance of a man named Commander GEN.YAHANNA in the I.S.U.P.K, who's a prophet of the Lord to guide us out of darkness. The more you know that, the better you are. Even though we know what's going on and it's shocking and it's sad, but this is a result. You have to blame it laid at the foot of our so-called leaders in America. You understand? That's who the blame should be placed for. All of our people that are listening out there on the World Wide Web and on social media or wherever you may be catching this broadcast, you must lay at the feet of our leadership. Black leadership in America, Black, Hispanic, and Native American leadership in America has failed. You understand? And being that our schools have failed, let me tell you something. You want to know when a government is starting to be diluted? When people stop believing in the institutions. And you know what happens next when they stop believing in the institutions? They stop believing in the politicians. And you know what happens next? Then you have a collapse. You have a collapse of social order. And we're close. I mean, we're basically there right now.
Right.
You understand, sis? So
yeah,
I just wanted to give you some encouragement. Don't be discouraged. Just log on to ISUPK.com, get in those classes, and guess what? Because we're building Christ's kingdom. We're building Christ's government. You understand? That's what we're doing. We have to be the government when this government collapses. We have to be the government for our people. You understand? So I just wanted to say that, sir. Don't get discouraged, all right? You got it. I'm on y'all.
All right. Fantastic. Okay, next caller, 504 area code. You're live on Boot Up or Shut 'Em Up Radio. You have state your name and city, please. Area code 504. Area code.
It's Officer Motherball, rank 5,000. One of the hosts of the show. I'm just listening. That's all. I don't have no comment or nothing. Unless it was somebody else from my area code call.
Let's see. I'll find out just to make sure. I don't think it was, though.
Okay. You want to go to the next story if no other callers?
Okay, let's get a couple of more calls. 281 area code. 281 area code. You're live on Boot Up or Shut Up Radio. (281) area code. Live on Boot Up or Shut Up Radio. Go ahead. Okay. All right, let's go to the next one. We're going to go 337 area code. 337 area code. Okay, we got a 985 area code. All right, 985 area code. You are live on Boot Up or Shut Up Radio. Go ahead.
Shalom, Yahweh Shemara, Athabah, Shemi Hawashai.
Shalom, Yahweh Shemara, Athabah, Shemi Hawashai.
I just want to know if you could talk to the viewers. My name is Ashanti. I'm calling from Houma, Louisiana.
Okay, you got a question or
I've been
comment?
seeing a lot of. Yes, just maybe a question / comment. If you could hit the viewers with just maybe a couple of scriptures to kind of clear our heads on these chariots that we've been seeing, or these UFOs or IFOs or whatever people are calling them. But there's like a lot of spacecraft stuff going on in the news and the media.
All right, fantastic. Okay, I'll go ahead and let Captain Kahan respond to that.
Okay, well, being that we pressed for time, let's see if we can probably get that. Are you in the classes in I.S.U.P.K?
Kind of one.
Okay, what we'll do, we'll address that in the class, or you can get in contact with us on our phone number, and we'll go more into that. The only reason why is because we're so proud. I want to just deal with these stories tonight. You know what I'm saying? Not to throw off anything, but we definitely will get you those answers on the chair. Okay.
All right.
No problem.
All right, next caller. We got a couple. We'll take a couple of more calls real quick. We're going to go with area code 213. Area code 213. You are live on Boot Up or Shut Up Radio. State your name and location, please. Area code 213. All right, let's get this next one. Area code 954. Area code 954. Area code 954. You are live on Boot Up or Shut Up Radio. State your name, city, and state.
Shalom. Hello?
Go ahead. You live on Boot Up or Shut Up Radio. What's your name?
Shalom. Y'all by Shimmy Shab Rakathum. This is Precinct Officer Natazak Nishad of Washington, D.C. Just want to say, I'm glad to be on here. Congratulations to y'all radio show. Y'all putting it down, man. That was an excellent battle. Captain Katazak smashing that Christian preacher. Man, right. Captain Kahan holding it down, man. Y'all brothers, Mississippi, Louisiana, Alabama, y'all doing it up right, man. Making this truth strong and glorious. I just wanted to make a comment if I could.
Go ahead.
All the brothers and sisters, y'all been on this radio listening, you seeing what's happening. It's not just Donald Trump. This is how America has always felt about black people. The police have always been killing us. They've always hated us. They never wanted us around. They always wanted to kill our women and children. They've been doing this the whole time. The Lord is bringing it to the forefront to where you can actually see what the prophets have been seeing, what Commander GEN.YAHANNA been saying. And don't take it for granted that you're able to understand what's actually going on, because the prophets of the Lord been saying this for a long time. And now that you're waking up, brothers and sisters, get in the I.S.U.P.K, get in these classes, man. It's going to get 1,000,000 times worse, and you want to be under the protection and the guidance of the men of the Lord in every city and state that you in. The Lord bringing an end to this empire, man. The Lord can wipe America out. Time for our people to come back and be a nation again. And your army, your government, your counselor, your school, your education on how to survive in these times is only going to come through the I.S.U.P.K. All right.
Beautifully said. I don't want perfectly said. And I appreciate you calling in. Don't hesitate to call in again. To all the radio listeners, Boot Up or Shut Up Radio is every second and fourth Sunday of the month. All right, now let's get into this next call. We're going to take one from 404 area code 404. You are live on Boot Up or Shut Up Radio. Go ahead and give your name, city, and state. Area code 404. Area code 404. Live on Boot Up or Shut Up Radio. All right. All right, we'll get the last one then. Let's go to 862. Area code 862. 862, you are live on Boot Up or Shut Up Radio. Go ahead and give your name, city, and state.
That's me. I'm live right now.
You're on the line right now. You 862 area code?
I'm 862 area code. Shalom, y'all. Y'all about to know Shabbat Thumb.
All right, shalom. Y'all about to know Shabbat. And what's your name, city, and state?
This Captain Tazariak, man. I didn't know y'all was putting me live, man. I thought you had to push the button to go live. I was trying to be in the cut. Just listen
Most high, right.
I was trying to just be in the cut, man.
Mighty man in the building.
What's going on, man? Hey, well, man, Mother Bar doing a great work out there. Big up to my man Katazai. You know, that's like my right up here in New York. Smashing them. I see y'all get all the blue kisses in the world. They're smashing all the passes in the world. I just want to eat too. That's all. That's all. Since you joined me on the line, I want to eat some of that meat too.
Come on now.
That's all.
Hey, as a matter of fact, Captain Zoriak, I grew up in this young troop, you know what I'm saying, in this troop young, watching your videos, brother, between you and Captain Mama Quad, you know. You know, so all praises do that.
We all grew up.
Yes,
right. We all grew up watching somebody. You know what I mean? I grew up watching Commander GEN.YAHANNA's, GEN.YAHANNA with the white boy.
Right. You don't know what happened to that. Must have pushed the mute button. Okay, we don't know what happened to that. That call just dropped. So we hate that. Everyone out there in Radio Land, that was again that was Captain Tazoriak, Harlem, New York camp leader, one of the runners out there in New York, running it, controlling the state. And again, we want to the water to that brother, to that mighty man, that priest, for calling in to boot up and shut up radio. Most High in Christ for that. Okay. Now what we want to do, I think we have one more call. If not, we're going to move straight ahead into what we're doing. Okay. Check to make sure there's no more calls. Okay, I don't see anything else. Okay, what we want to do then, go ahead and go in Captain Kahan. You go ahead and pick up where you left off, brother.
Okay, it's like I'm back. Hey, shout out to Officer Natazak Shah that called in. Shout out to Captain Tazariak, Across the Line Radio show. Make sure you tune into that. You can go to our website to check that out, or you can check that out on Facebook. Look up Cross the Line Radio, hosted by Captain Tazariak and Captain Katazai out of New York. Okay, that's another Bond radio show you want to check out. Check that show out. The show is every Thursday night. What time that start? What is it? 11 Eastern Standard Time.
I think it is 9. Central.
9 o'clock our time. 9 o'clock our time, sir.
There will be 9 o'clock. There will be 9 o'clock Central Time. So make sure you check that show out and support those brothers, man. They're bringing out some heavy points in on that show. Okay, right. So we're gonna go back. I guess we're gonna go back into the stories. Okay, so let's go. Where we at, Trooper? We on. Let's go to story. Let's go to story 5. Let's deal with a lot of this homosexuality that's going on in America. Let's deal with story 5. Okay.
This article is titled, RuPaul, Drag is a big F-U to male-dominated culture.
A big what?
To male-dominated culture.
Okay, you can imagine what that's trying to say. Go ahead.
RuPaul Charles was 7. One of his sisters comforted him with a promise. Everyone who's in charge of the world now, she told him, they are all making it better so that years from now, everyone on the planet will have at least 8 pairs of shoes. Her prediction tells us something about the better world a young RuPaul dreamed of, and that, in the case of his own shoe collection, at least turned out to be true. Before the boy was even born, a psychic had told his mother he would grow up to be famous, so she took great care to name him suitably. What neither his unusually prescient family nor a single TV pundit predicted, however, was that at the age of 57, he would be the star of what has been called the most radical show on TV.
Talking about that drag race show. Read on.
RuPaul's Drag Race was turned down by every network bar one when he first pitched the idea a decade ago. A pastiche of American Next Top Model, part talent contest and part reality TV, the format selects a dozen or so drag queens to compete in weekly challenges, such as running up a Gone with the Wind themed gown out of curtains.
Mm-hmm.
A judging panel of RuPaul and guests who have included Lady Gaga and LaToya Jackson, scores the catwalk finales, looking for charisma, uniqueness, nerve, and talent, and the bottom two then lip sync for their lives to a pop anthem.
Okay, so now I want you to skip me down to where it's a quote where it says, "People have always been threatened by me as an African American man." Look, scroll down to that, and while he's scrolling down to that, let's get this scriptures on this, because this is a major problem in America. This homosexuality. You know what I'm saying? This is our black men, which is another principality and thing we have to fight in America. You understand? Fight trying to keep our masculinity. You understand? Like, let's read. Let me know when you get it, brother.
I got it.
Okay, someone take me to Deuteronomy 32:5. And this now we're gonna read this, but I want the brother to read the part. This is what RuPaul said, and every black man that feel, or black woman that feels she's struggling with homosexuality, you need to pay attention to this. Because this is coming out of his own mouth. You understand? This is coming out of his own mouth. Read, brother.
This is a quote from RuPaul. People have always been threatened by me as an African-American man.
Stop right there. Let's deal with that. People have already, now notice it says African-American man. It didn't say African-American, it said African-American man. It didn't say transgender. African-American man, read.
Because of the inherent black race that all black people have in our culture. Because of the inherent black race that all black people have in our culture.
Uh-huh.
That underlying black race because of what happened to us in this country.
So RuPaul understands the reason we have this race is because we are victims of what happened, right, to us in this country. Not that we just mad because we're mad. We're mad because of what happened to our people. And justifiably so. The Bible says oppression make a wise man mad. Read on.
It's always there. It's a glaring issue that's saying, first of all, let's talk about the black race. So one of the ways that I've been able to dilute that perception is to dress as a character that says, look, I'm fun.
Say what?
Dress as a character that says, look, I'm fun. I can have a sense of humor about life because I'm in drag.
Now, hold on. Now, let's stop right there. Someone get me where it says, why trimmest thou thy way to seek love? Now, we have to examine this. We have to examine the psychological warfare of what homosexuality does to a black man. Now, I don't know if y'all callers out there, feel free to call in. You know what I'm saying? Feel free to call in. You want to call in about this, you can call in. But we have to talk. We have to discuss this. Now, he understood growing up that black people had rage about what has happened to us in this country. But his way to combat that or dilute, that's the word he used, dilute that, is to be a homosexual. To be non-threatening, to appease the white man's fear, to not make him afraid of him being a 6'4". What RuPaul's like 6'4", right? He's like 6'4", 6'5". The damn tall drag queen.
That's right.
Like he did that to make the white man feel comfortable. Give me where it says, give me the scripture I asked for where it says, why trimmest thou thy ways?
The book of Jeremiah, chapter 2, verse 33. Why trimmest thou thy way to seek love? Therefore,
you see, the Bible is asking us a question as a people. Why are you trimming your way to seek love? Why, in order for you, got to be accepted? You won't be, and they're going to show you, you got to be a double minority now to be accepted. First of all, you're already a minority, being a so-called African American. Now you have to be a gay black man to be accepted. Next, you're gonna be integrated into robots. When they come out with all these goddamn robots and these dummies, crash dummies, or whatever the hell they're using now. You understand? That's what's gonna be the next thing. you're gonna have to keep every year, every decade, you're gonna have to change who you are. You're gonna have to. He gonna say, I ain't this year, do this, and we gotta try to fit into his mold of what it means to be. If that ain't oppression, I don't know what is. What you're reading here about RuPaul is oppression. Is oppression 101. To get a person to not only hate their race, but to hate their gender. Now, if the Bible ain't real, I don't know what you're talking about. I don't even know why you're even listening on the radio show if you don't believe that the Bible is real. The Bible says, why are you trimming your ways to seek love? And that's what we do. We do that in every aspect of our life in this place. To get a job, to get accepted into school, everything. To eat. That's oppression. You understand? Read on.
Therefore, hast thou also taught the wicked ones thy ways?
You see that? These people have studied us, and they know this nigga right, he gonna flip. He will be, if I want to give him $1 million, if I tell him I'd give you $1 million to put on a dress, you would do it. You will cut off your masculinity, which is what you need in order to fight this kingdom and to bring it and usher in your own. You understand?
Verse 34. Also in thy skirts is found the blood of the souls of the poor innocents. I have not found it by secret search, but upon all these.
You see? That's going into something else. But I want to say this. I want him to go back. I want him to go back to that scripture. I want him to go back to that scripture that we not the scripture, the quote, right? And while he's going back to that quote, go to Deuteronomy. Let's go to Deuteronomy 32:5. All right. I want him to go. I want him to read that because I want you to read that again so everybody understands that this is not the I.S.U.P.K. saying this. This is a drag queen called RuPaul that is saying this. Read.
First of all, let's talk about the black rage. So one of the ways that I've been able to dilute that perception is to dress as a character that says, look, I'm fun. I can have a sense of humor about life because I'm in drag. I acknowledge black rage, but we're going to have some fun. So then people are like, oh, okay, so we can laugh together. We don't have to address the black rage.
You see that? I don't got to talk about how my people oppress you because you're a homosexual. You understand? Like this is a tool. This is a tool to oppress our people, man. Homosexual, the LGBTQI mafia. I like to call them the LGBTQI mafia because they want to call and say we a hate group. Call the Southern Poverty Law Center. Call because we trying to preserve our masculinity. It's almost, you know what? It's almost like you got to come out the closet to be a heterosexual now. Damn near. These homosexuals done took over so much now. It's almost like I got to take a class because I don't agree with homosexuality. I got to take a class because I think I'm seeing what this is what I like to call an observational truth. I'm looking at you. You're a man. You understand? You're a man. You don't have breasts. You don't have that. So I can see you are a man, and I got to take a class because I don't see it. That's how I look at life. He has man genitalia. He's a man. This is a woman. The woman has woman features. This is a woman. But to give me another scripture where it says the things the turning upside down should be esteemed as the potter's clay. Give me that scripture. Give me that scripture, and give me the scripture in Deuteronomy. What did I had you holding? Deuteronomy
32:5.
32:5. You understand? Like we can't even deal with observational truths, but everybody supposed to come together. How are we gonna come together when we can't even agree what a man and a woman is? Just think about that. For all the pastors out there that think that everybody gonna come together and we can't even agree on what is a man and what is a woman. And then once we agree on that, then we can't even agree what bathroom to use. You see how backwards this place is, man? Go ahead and read that scripture, brother, please.
This is Deuteronomy, the book of Deuteronomy, chapter 32, verse 5. The book of Deuteronomy, chapter 32, verse 5. And it reads, They have corrupted themselves. Their spot is not the spot of his children. They are.
See that? God said we corrupted ourselves. You know what a spot, like the Lord is saying, you don't look like my child the way you carrying on, the way you acting. Your spot not the spot of my children. We corrupted ourselves. We corrupted ourselves in his political system, his educational system, and this is destroying the nucleus of a family. I don't think people understand what homosexuality is doing to our people. You're destroying the nucleus of a family by saying, "Hey man, you're gender fluid." I'm hearing all these type of lingos and terms from the LGBTQI mafia. You understand? You're gender. What the hell is a gender fluid? You understand? Read on.
They are a perverse and crooked nation.
They're what?
A perverse and crooked nation.
There you go. That's why they say they gay, they're not straight. They're not straight because they're crooked. Read on.
Verse 6. Do ye thus requite the Lord, O foolish people and unwise? Is not he thy father that hath brought thee, that hath bought thee? Hath he not made thee and established thee?
God established us, man. How you gonna requite the Lord? How you gonna say God wrong when he made you a man? But you saying you a woman trapped in a man's body. That's a demon. You possessed. You understand? You struggle. Well, and let me ask you this. And it always come. Why do they say I have to come out the closet? Why are they hiding it first? Because they know it's wrong. They know it's not natural. You understand? It's not natural for a man to want to be like a woman. But it's showing you right here what he said was a confession. What RuPaul said in this article was a confession. He said that he's basically saying that I became this way to make white people feel comfortable about being around a black man. That's oppression. Give me the scripture where it's a potter's clay, please. Okay, brother, go ahead and read on. Read on. I want you to read down while he's getting that scripture, please. Let's get more on this.
Come. He grew up the only son of 4 children to dirt poor parents in San Diego who fought violently before separating when RuPaul was 7. By then, he already knew he was different. This is RuPaul quoting. When I was a kid, I thought, okay, I don't fit in. I know that. But I'm smart enough to figure out what I can do to fit in.
Say what?
When I was a kid, I thought, okay, I don't fit in. I know that. But I'm smart enough to figure out what I can do to fit in.
Now think about this. If any caller know what it means to fit in, someone give me a call. Someone give this radio show a call. If anybody thinks that if they think that it just fit in me and being cool, you got another thing coming. Because he just addressed race. You understand? He's dealing with poverty. He grew up dirt poor. So he's saying, look, what do I got to do to fit in? Read on.
He studied the gender norms and expectations around him. And I thought, okay, I've got it. I want nothing to do with that. In fact, I'm lucky that I don't fit in because now I can play with all the toys and all the colors. Rag, laughter, and cannabis were his coping mechanisms. And at 15, he moved to live with his sister and her husband in Atlanta, where he quickly hit the nightclub scene.
You see that? You see that? You know, there's a lot of homosexuality. There's homosexuality everywhere, but there's a lot of it in Atlanta. You understand? But listen, he said drag, laughter, and cannabis. In other words, drugs. And I guarantee you, he ain't just do cannabis. He probably did all type of stuff to make people around him happy, white people around him happy. You understand? He probably done all types of drugs and crystal meth and mushrooms and everything you could think of. Drugs you probably haven't even heard about. You understand? Like that's oppression. He did this to fit in a society. Take me to 2 Peter 2:5.
2 Peter chapter 2.
I'm sorry. Get the one with the steams of the potter's clay, please.
Okay. The book of Isaiah, chapter 29, verse 16. The book of Isaiah.
And I want to say one thing too. Notice how he went from trying to fit in to versus trying to stand out, showing that it's a flip it. He was trying to stand out to fit in. You understand? And the scripture is going to prove it. Read.
The book of Isaiah, chapter 29, verse 16. Isaiah, chapter 29, verse 16. And it reads, surely your turning of things upside down shall be esteemed as the potter's clay. For shall the work say of him that made it, he made me not? Or shall the thing framed say of him that framed it, he had no understanding?
You see that? Like that's what's going on with homosexuality. Like you want to argue about you don't choose your gender. God chooses your gender. Like how you gonna say? Just think about it, like you said, the pot is like a potter that shapes something. He shapes this pot and says, "I'm gonna use this pot for cooking grits." And then can the pot say to him, "Nah, I'm supposed to be used for cooking, chicken"?
Right.
You understand? Like the potter made you. You understand? That's how proud mankind and our people, for following these heathens, have become. We've become so proud that God don't know no better. You understand? And every time that happened in the Bible, what happened? God destroyed that place. You cannot socially engineer society outside God's plan and expect it not to backfire. It's going to backfire. You understand? Any more on that?
Other one.
Okay. Let's go to 2 Peter 2 and 2, and I'm going to get off at it. 2 Peter chapter 2, verse 5. And we're going to move on to the next story if we got time.
Another one come. This is 2 Peter chapter 2, verse 5. 2 Peter chapter 2, verse 5. And it reads, spared not the old world, but saved Noah, the eighth person, a preacher of righteousness, bringing in the flood upon the world of the ungodly. Verse 6, and turning the cities of Sodom and Gomorrah into ashes, condemned them with an overthrow, making them an ensample unto those that after should live ungodly.
You see that? Like God let it be an example of what happened with Sodom and Gomorrah. Sodom and Gomorrah was composed of 5 cities of homosexuals, and the Lord destroyed all of them. You understand? What do you think God is going to do to America? What do you think He's going to do to this place? Anything you want to do in America, you can do. Anything. You understand? This is a form of entertainment for white people. Drag race. Black using a 6'4" Negro on there entertaining white people in drag when he's a man.
Mm-hmm.
God hates this place, man. You understand? That's why Lot, what the Bible says, Lot, he was vexed every day in Sodom because it's what he had to see, what he had to hear, the kind of filthy conversation, all these things. It's almost a crime to be a heterosexual male. And read the title of the article again, brother. Read the title of the article one more time.
RuPaul, drag is a big F-U to male-dominated culture.
You see that? Now, notice this. It can't be an F-U to white-dominated culture. How do you know? Because of what he said. Keep in mind, it's because he had to be a woman in order to make white people feel good. Right or wrong?
Okay.
So, what F-U was that to? What community? Think about that. Think about that. Because he don't want to tackle the white man, his oppression. He diluted his black rage for that, to become a woman, to try to be like a woman. You understand? That's why the Bible says you can't serve 2 masters. You understand? You can't be a voice for America and a voice for black people. You can't be a voice for the LGBT community and be a voice for black people. You can't do that. You got to pick one first. And the race card trumps the gender card every time.
Right.
You understand? You still gonna be a nigga. You're gonna be a nigga in drag. You understand? When you get done getting high, you're gonna realize that you still a nigga.
Right.
You understand? All right. Any more on that?
Out of one, but I do have another precept at Isaiah 3:9 through 11. If I can read it.
Let's get it. All right. We got any callers?
Not at this time. We'll go ahead.
Okay, let's go.
All right. This is Isaiah, book of Isaiah, chapter 3, verses 9 through 11. Isaiah, chapter 3, verses 9 through 11, verse 9 reads, "The show of their countenance doeth witness against them, and they declare their sin as Sodom, they hide it not. Woe unto their souls, for they have rewarded evil unto themselves." Verse 10, "Say ye to the righteous, that it shall be well with them, for they shall eat the fruit of their doom." Verse 11, "Woe unto the wicked, it shall be ill with him, for the reward of his hands shall be given him."
Exactly. Like this is what's going to happen to these homosexuals, man. If they don't come out of that lifestyle, they don't fight that. You feel me? There is no alternative lifestyle in the Bible. There's life and death. There ain't no in between. You can't say there's life and then there's an alternative to that. The only alternative to life is death.
That's right.
You understand? The Lord said, "I set before you this day life and death. Choose life." And He told us, just in case you didn't know which one to choose, because if you ain't smart enough to know which one to choose, He said, "Look, choose life." He gave you a cheat sheet. He gonna set before you life and death. Then I'm gonna tell you which one to choose. We choosing death and calling it life. We call death an alternative lifestyle. And this is what's going on with homosexuality. Now imagine all the demons that he's trying to suppress with him being a homosexual. You understand? You can't change the nature of something that God set forth. You understand? You can try to get all type of surgeries and all that. You still gonna be a man. You understand? You may be a maimed man, but you a man. You a man nonetheless. Same thing with our sisters. You understand? All right. So that was a great scripture, brother. How much time I got left?
20 minutes.
Okay. Let's go to let's go to story 4. Get story 4 for me, brother.
Come.
All right.
And the article is titled, "Walter Williams on Mark Levine's new show, We Have Betrayed the Founding Fathers."
Now, for those who don't know, this right here, he's a professor. This is a black man. I believe he's a professor at George Mason University. We're going to get into it. This Negro said that we have, with all that's going on in America, we are the ones that betrayed the Founding Fathers. You understand? I mean, you can expect a white person to say this, but a black man should never say this. Even if he's trying to speak for white America, he should not say we have betrayed the Founding Fathers. You understand? Because we, the people, didn't include you. Go ahead, brother. Read.
On Mark Levine's new Fox News show, Life, Liberty, and Levine, on Sunday, economist and George Mason University professor Walter Williams told Levine, "We have betrayed the founding fathers of our country by giving more power to the federal government and less power to the states. Maybe we're not that different, and maybe we're going to share the same future as those other great empires of the past," said Walter Williams to Levine.
You see that? Like, even some of these big-headed Negroes, as traitorous as they are to black people, and for even to align himself with the so-called the founding thieves, because they're not the founding fathers. Our founding fathers is Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob. You understand? For him to even get on there and say that we have betrayed, and then for him to say, oh my goodness, it's just so sad. Like for him to say that, read that part again. I don't want to misquote it. Read it one more time, please.
"Maybe we're not that different, And maybe we're going to share the same future as those other great empires of the past.
Skip me up like about 2 or 3 sentences where he talked about the federal government.
Oh, come. By giving more power to the federal government and less power to the state.
You see that? Now this Negro is so stupid. I'm gonna show you. Now he's a George Mason professor, George Mason University professor. He's about as dumb as a box of rocks. Now when you hear that, you know he's a Republican, because Republicans believe smaller government, you know, is dealing with politics. But that big head Negro don't even know that it was the federal government that ended slavery, that so-called quote unquote ended slavery. Chattel slavery, it doesn't matter, but it didn't end our slavery as far as the people. But he's trying to side with the conservative views. You understand? Whether it's the state or the federal got more power, we are a political pinball in this white man's machine. You understand? You think the states ain't never oppressed black people? You think state government ain't never oppressed black people? I think that's right by D.C., George Mason. He can go right over to Southeast D.C. and see, you know what I'm saying, and see what's going on. He can go to Maryland. He can go out there, Prince George's County, Maryland, and see what's going on with our people. You understand? Like, we oppressed by the state and the federal level. You understand? State-sponsored terrorism, what you getting ready to see in these schools with them arming these schools. You understand? Kentucky already voted for it. They already voted to arm these schools. What is he saying about that? Read on.
Keep in mind, we have betrayed the founding fathers of our country. Williams also warned, we're moving towards totalitarianism because the country is moving more towards government control over our lives and away from liberty. They also have a transcript if you want to read that.
Yeah, read that, please.
Levine. So that is a circular problem then, because these people will continue to do what they're doing, these politicians. In fact, they grab more and more power from the private sector, from the individual, and yet they don't have the ability, either because of the public or because of their own lack of will, to do what needs to be done 20, 30, or 40 years out. Williams says that's right. Levine. So what happens to a country? Williams. Well, people will say, well, what can we do? And I ask, are the American people as human beings, are we any different from the Spanish, the Portuguese, the French, the British, great empires of the past who went down the tubes for doing roughly what we're doing, bread and services? And I say, well, maybe we're not
bread and circus is a term that the Romans used. When their Colosseums, when they used to have the games, the sports games, when they had the gladiators fight to the death, when they had bread and circus, the politicians used that to distract them from what was really going on in the empire. Read on.
And I say, well, maybe we're not that different, and maybe we're going to share the same future as those other great empires of the past. Keep in mind, we have betrayed the founding fathers of our country. I mean, if you look at Federalist Paper 45, when James Madison is writing the paper, he was trying to convince the citizens of New York to ratify the Constitution, and they were afraid to ratify the Constitution. And he said, the powers that we delegated to the federal government are few and well defined and restricted mostly to external affairs. The powers left with the people and the state are indefinite and numerous. If you turn that upside down, we have what we have now. The powers of the federal government are indefinite and numerous. Devane, would you agree with me that in many respects we now live in to follow up your point, a post-constitutional period? It's not really a federal republic since the states live at the behest of the federal government. It's not really a representative republic. You have this massive administrative state with 2 million, civil servants, bureaucrats, and it's not really a constitutional republic when 5 individuals or the court can decide if something is fundamental or not fundamental or decide to nationalize the issue and there is no recourse. What kind of government is this right now? Williams replied, well, we're moving towards totalitarianism. That is, I'm not saying that we are a totalitarian nation yet, but which way are we headed? Tiny steps at a time. More government control over our lives or more liberty? And it's the latter. More government control over our lives. And so, and the tragic thing about this is that the American people have contempt for the United States Constitution, contempt and ignorance because any politician who decided to uphold and defend the United States Constitution, he would not get elected to office by the American people. That is, if he says, look, nowhere in the Constitution is there authority for the federal government to be involved in education. So if you send me to Washington, I'm not going to bring back billions of dollars in aid to higher education because it's not in the Constitution. He'd run out of time. That's the conclusion.
You see that? I hope everybody followed. I know a lot of people not really into politics, but I brought this story out for black people, black and Hispanic people who follow the politics, you know what I'm saying, Native American Indian. Let's go to Deuteronomy 32:16. Like he's saying, like what he's stating is this. He's realizing that what? The path that America is on is towards totalitarianism. I think I said that word right. Where it's not really what they call democracy. You know what I'm saying? It's like a dictatorship. And listen, and really that's really America showing her true colors. You understand? When white people are starting, white people already knew what it was like for us. You understand? They seen our life and how we live, but it didn't matter. But now that they feel like their government is oppressive to them, trying to take their guns, take away their rights, you're going to see them get more and more violent. But for him to say, to him as a black man to say, we have to trade the founding fathers is a shame. He should not let those words come out of his mouth. As a black man in America, and this guy, he had to be like 50-something years old, close to 60-something years old, looking at him, you know what I'm saying? Like, let's go to Deuteronomy 32:16. Let's read that.
The book of Deuteronomy, chapter 32, verse 16. Deuteronomy, chapter 32, verse 16. And it reads, they provoked him to jealousy with strange gods. With abominations provoked they him to anger. Verse 17.
Read on.
They sacrifice unto devils, not to God.
You see that? We're sacrificing unto devils, man, by trying to wrap ourselves in the American flag and the American Constitution. The American Constitution don't have nothing to do with black people. You understand? You're 3/5 of a man in the American Constitution. You idiot.
Right.
It don't have nothing to do with you. When We the People was written, life living in the pursuit of happiness, and let me tell you, and they removed that clause out of their pursuit of happiness, pursuit of property, which means you was the property. Happiness means you was gonna pick the cotton. That's what happiness was. His happiness was whipping you on the back. Your grandfather, your great-great-great-grandfather. You understand? It don't have nothing to do with you. Read on.
Verse 17, they sacrifice unto gods, they sacrifice unto devils, not to God, to gods whom they knew not, the new gods that came newly up, whom your fathers feared not.
You see that? Fathers didn't fear all these different things the white man putting forth. They didn't fear it because they knew God's law was divine law. You understand? They knew that, like this place, this so-called new world that they founded is, like I said, it's aging every day quickly, and it's gonna fail. It's going out. One thing he was right about that it's going out like the Roman Empire. America is the extension of the Roman Empire. The Senate, the Congress, Capitol Hill, all those things were in Rome. And all these different things are happening in Rome, in the Roman Empire. You understand? This is what was going on, widespread corruption. And he's an economics professor, am I right, Trooper? What did he teach at George Mason? Economics? He teaches economics at George Mason University. Now, he should know about corruption if he's an economics professor. He should know about corruption, how they inflate the dollar and different things like that. Look what's going on with Donald Trump right now. He ain't talking about that. He's not talking about the trade war he's getting ready to do with China, with aluminum and steel and all that, which is gonna make the price of a car go up. When you go buy a car now, you're going to pay more money for it because they get a trade war. You understand? He's not talking about how Donald Trump's Wall Street friend poured out of the steel, sold $31 million of stock before the news came out. You understand? It's corruption. And he's too ignorant to see it. He see what he want to see. Read on.
Verse 18. Of the rock that begat thee, thou art unmindful, and hast forgotten God that formed thee.
You see that? That's how you know we the Lord's chosen people. We calling the nation of thieves our founding fathers. The thieves that found America, we calling them our founding fathers. They were pirates and thieves, and let me tell you something. They were traitors to the crown of England. You understand? They were. I'm tell you, they were treasonous. But the ones that found this country. You better read. It's a book called The Counter Revolution by Professor Gerald Horne. It's another book that you guys can read on what was really going on back then during 1776 and leading up to that war. You understand? They were pirates, man. They were doing all kind of illegal trading, all kind of stuff. They were going in places that with the African Trading Company, all type of stuff that was going on, man. You understand? That's what's going on. They were thieves. They stole us, stole this country from the Native American Indians, killed a lot of all the indigenous people on this side, which were the Lord's chosen people, and then called this a nation, a God-fearing nation. This nation hates God, man. You understand? Read on. Any more?
That's it.
Take me to Isaiah 30:9.
The book of Isaiah,
please.
Chapter 30, verse 9. The book of Isaiah, chapter 30, verse 9. And it reads, that this is a rebellious people, lying children that will not hear the law of the Lord. Verse 10, which say to the seers, see not, and to the prophets.
That's what they say in the I.S.U.P.K. They saying to us, don't see that. The seers is an old word for prophets. In the ancient times, they called them seers, the prophets. And they would say to the prophets, don't tell me about what's right. Don't see what's in front. Don't see that I'm a man. Don't see that I'm a man even though I want to be a woman. Don't see this government is a wicked government even though I want to love it. Don't tell me that. Don't tell me the white man is not the devil. Now, this same professor, if we were to go to George Mason University and say the white man's the devil, he would say we were wrong. But yet, he's trying to save a devilish government. Read on.
Verse 10, which say to the seers, see not, and to the prophets, prophesy not unto us right things. Speak unto us smooth things. Prophesy deceits.
And that's what our pastors are doing. That's what these pastors are doing. That's what these politicians are doing. They prophesying deceit. You know what I'm saying? We're not a voice of the people. We the voice of God. God is speaking through these men in I.S.U.P.K. You understand? And we telling the people, a lot of our people, they don't want to hear it. But we warning them. We see the writing on the wall. We see what this place getting ready to go. Read.
Verse 11. Get you out of the way. Turn aside out of the path. Cause the Holy One of Israel to cease from before us. Verse 12. Wherefore thus saith the Holy One of Israel, because ye despise this word, and trust in oppression and perversiveness, and say thereon
what?
Perversiveness.
And we perversiveness, and we trust in oppression. That's what we trusting in. We trying to fix a government that was never made for us.
Mm-hmm.
We trying to fix a government that was never formed for us. You understand? We came over here to serve slavery. You understand? That's the reality of it. You know what I'm saying? We in a strange land under captivity. We not in our land. You understand? And for you to say that we portrayed the founding fathers as a black man to get on a conservative radio and say that is a shame. You understand? Mm-hmm. Not acknowledging your true forefathers. You basically saying we a bastard. You basically saying we a bastard. We a bastard race. Because they ain't our forefathers.
Con. Verse 13. Therefore, this iniquity shall be to you as a breach ready to fall, swelling out in a high wall, whose breaking cometh suddenly at an instant.
You see that? When it all falls down, people are going to be like, man, what happened? What happened? We was telling you what was getting ready to happen. America don't give a damn about you, man. You understand? This place doesn't give a damn about you. Take me to John chapter 19, verse 14, please.
The book of John, chapter 19, verse 14. John chapter 19, verse 14. And it reads, and it was the preparation of the Passover, and about the 6th hour. And he said unto the Jews, behold, your king.
Go ahead.
Verse 15. But they cried out, away with him, crucify him. Pilate said unto them, shall I crucify your king? The chief priests answered, we have no king but Caesar.
You see that? That's what these Negroes are. The ones that want to say we betrayed the founding fathers, we believe in this country, you basically saying to Christ, we have no king but Caesar. Christ said, my kingdom is not of this world. So if his kingdom is not of this world, why are you trying to keep alive a kingdom and die for a kingdom that's not Christ's kingdom? Christ hates this place. You understand? And there's Negroes like this that were back then that said, we have no king but Caesar. If you at George Mason University, you should disenroll yourself from this class. If you're getting ready to go to George Mason University, avoid this Negro at all costs. You understand? What's his name again? Say his name so everybody can hear out there in radio land. What's that professor's name?
Got 1 minute left. Got to hurry up.
Like it. Walter Williams.
Stay out of Walter Williams' classroom, man. He ain't going to teach you nothing about economics, and he damn sure ain't going to teach you nothing about being black. All right, I'm going to go ahead and pass it back over to you, y'all. Water.
Excellent. Oh, you are yonder boss for that. All right, we want to thank everyone for listening to Boot Up and Shut Up Radio. Again, every second Sunday, second and fourth Sunday of the month. We want to give thanks to our special guest, Captain Katazak, a party in our radio affiliate from Cross the Line Radio. Thank Pastor Willie Jackson for coming on. Again, Captain Mighty Man, Captain Kahan for the news, politics, and biblical scriptures. Thanking Officer 5000 Motorboy, Louisiana Camp Leader. Officer 500 Tazdakia, Mississippi Camp Leader. Officer 5000 Natatak from the D.C. camp with a special appearance, along with another special appearance from Captain Tazariak, again, a radio affiliate in Harlem, New York, at Cross the Line Radio. We're thanking Commanding General Yohanna for leading this great nation, and again, and leading the 12 tribes of the nation of Israel. So he has never, ever dropped his sword and dedicating his life and sacrificing his life to raise the real priests and prophets of the Lord. So again, tune in next 2 weeks. Again, Boot Up or Shut Up Radio. Again, thanks to prayers for the platform. Again, Shalom, Israel. Kwam Yasha Allah. Boot Up or Shut Up Radio.